It's always hard to get up behind a good preacher. So since I'm not a preacher, I'll just speak what I have on my heart today. Good evening. I'm Mark Cooks, and I've been a resident for Duncanville for the past 6 years. My wife and I decided to move to Duncanville after we married several years ago, and we wanted to move to Duncanville only because we have a blended family, and we decided that a blended family needed a new home. Well, part of our reasoning for doing that is simply because once we got married, she decided to let me plan the wedding. So I have to tell this story because this story goes to how we got to Duncanville. So I planned a birthday celebration for her. At the same time, it was an engagement celebration for her. And when we finished, it was a marriage ceremony for her. So once we finished that, we moved, and she said, well, we can't stay in the same place. You did all of that. Now it's time to move to something else. So we found a home in Duncanville 6 years ago and decided to move to Duncanville because of the home development here in Duncanville. Yes, 6 years may be a short time. But let me tell you that being a native of Dallas, I know every part of the city, whether it's Duncanville, DeSoto, or Cedar Hill, but I'm proud to be a member of Duncanville. I want to share with you that I'm also a member of the Concord Church in Dallas, where we serve people in Concord. I'm an elder there, and I enjoy being an elder there at Concord. One of my passions is our family, and we celebrate today because I have a precious wife, children, and grandchildren. Now, all of our children are grown, and when we moved to Duncanville, only one of those children was still with us, and now she has graduated to the school of gone and gone. So now we're empty nesters, but we have a lovely grandchild who is 7 years old yesterday. I'll have to recognize her if I would say anything else. Maya Williams, my grandbaby, is 7 years old. Maya, congratulations on your birthday. I'll say that to myself for you. But let me just tell you, as I close, the reason I'm running for City Council for Duncanville. I'm running for Duncanville because it is time for a new voice for Duncanville. It is time for us to blend ourselves together to make this truly a city of champions that it once was in the 1800s and now. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I hope as we finish today, you'll have more information about my family, myself, and my work experience with Wells Fargo, which I've been in banking for 30 plus years, and have worked at Wells Fargo for the past 18 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. James, it's time for your opening statement, sir.
Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak for you tonight. My name is James Schumanner, and I'm running for the Duncanville City Council District 4 to be a new voice at City Hall. While I'm not new to Duncanville, like a lot of citizens, feel my voice is not heard. Once elected, I will restore civility, accountability, and integrity to this City Council seat. I am part of the fabric of what makes Duncanville great. As a toddler, I moved to Duncanville in 1970. Although my family did come along with me, I have spent more than 30 years here in Duncanville, active in this community. I have served on the Duncanville Planning and Zoning Board, the Sanitary Sewer Board. I currently serve as trustee to the Dallas County School Board, in which I oversee a budget of over $129 million and 2,000 employees. I was raised to speak out when our leaders are not telling the truth, not doing what is right, or spending too much money on things that don't matter. When I talk to voters about what they want, they raise legitimate concerns about how our neighborhoods need attention, about how empty storefronts should be filled, about how people who complain at City Hall are treated with disrespect. We can, with new leadership, civility, and an honest conversation about our financial outlook, set policies that require that monies that are spent on job creation, sales tax, increasing our sales tax revenue, and increasing our property tax values. Take, for example, the Star Center, that began as an attraction and now has turned into an expensive recreation center. The incumbent wants to distract you from these failed policies. He wants you to ignore the lowered property tax values, the trash on the streets, an expensive water, sewer, and trash pickup. He wants you to ignore the decreased police involvement and the increased property crimes. I'm concerned that our neighborhood stores are being robbed at gunpoint and that our community institutions, such as Pursley's, are shutting their doors. I know that we can do better. We can clean up our streets through a robust community service program. We can keep abandoned houses cleaned up, and we can increase the number of police we hire. This is why the local realtors, the Metro Texas Association of Realtors, have endorsed me. Duncanville is at a crossroads, and when you go into the voting booth, you have the choice of returning someone whose only answer is more of the same. Or you can vote for a change. Not a change for change's sake, but a change that will restore civility, accountability, and integrity back to our city council. As for your vote on May 12th, my name is James Huebner. I thank you. I will be honored to have your vote and your support.
Thank you, James. And now, Grady, it's time for your opening statement, please. You'll have 3 minutes.
Good evening. My name is Grady Smithy. I want to introduce my wife, Judy. Please stand out there, Judy, who's been my wife for 47.5 years. Thank you, Duncanville Road and the Chamber, for the opportunity to discuss issues facing Duncanville. For 22 of the past 28 years, I've been your District 4 City Council. I want to continue to serve you in this capacity. Council is your Board of Directors of Public Corporation with a budget this year of more than $36.5 million. We need the best qualified citizens in these positions of leadership. Let's talk about Duncanville's growth. Sales tax dollars lower your property tax rate by 13 cents and provide Duncanville with economic and community development funds. With 4B tax funding, we built a new library, recreation center, and brought in more than $130 million in new projects to benefit Duncanville. In the last 12 years, we've seen a surge in business growth. A few of these projects which create jobs include Papados, Champions Cove, Main Station, Tow Shows, Roma's, Kitchens Deli, and the redevelopment of Main Street, WB Refrigerated Trailers, Hilton Garden Inn, and Costco. Through my work and relationship with state and regional transportation officials, I was able to convince TxDOT and North Texas Council of Governments to fund 100%, that's 100% of 2 service road extensions in Duncanville that made it possible for us to get to Hilton Garden Inn. Without those service road extensions, we would not have gotten Hilton Garden Inn. These agencies have also funded entirely intersection improvements at US 67 and I-20 interchange and Southbound Clark Road exit from eastbound to I-20. Total of these projects exceeded $15 million, and not a penny came from your Duncanville pocketbook. Over the years, I've brought into Duncanville over $25 million in outside funding for our transportation projects. Dennis Schwartz planned them, and I went out and got half the money from people outside of town, the county predominantly, to get them done. Experienced judgment is essential, and I have that experienced judgment. Current success is built on past accomplishment. In my first 10 years in the City Council, I had passed 2 major bond issues. These brought Duncanville opportunities for growth and prosperity offered by 4B. They put our basic road grid system together, they put our basic water system together, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Those particular bond issue debts will be paid in full by 2015. All Duncanville citizens want a safe community. In fact, Police Chief Brown's March crime report shows a 70% decrease in overall crime from a year ago. I'll continue to work to try to fight crime. Duncanville is a great community of great people. It deserves the best city council you can elect. This is no time to go with inexperience. We need proven judgment, experience, qualifications, and the willingness to tackle the tough issues of our city governments. I'm Grady Smithy, the best qualified candidate to be your councilman in District 4. I have a proven judgment, experience, and qualification. A science degree from North Texas and a master's in public administration with a 4.0 and a fellowship in congressional operations in the United States government. I thank you very much for your consideration, and I want your vote.
Prior to seeking this position, in what capacity have you served Duncanville? Would you like to hear that again?
Okay. Thank you. I've served Duncanville as the Board of Adjustments for Duncanville. I was newly appointed to the Board of Adjustment because of my past history of working with cities throughout the Dallas and Cedar Hill area. Working at the Board of Adjustment, I had an opportunity to hear citizens' concern as they walk through issues that they had at Duncanville. I also have worked with several organizations such as the Dallas Black Dance Theater. I've worked with charter schools, and all of this is not Duncanville, but however, I'm not limited to just the area of Duncanville, but my experience with other areas of organizations will lend support to any part of the city of Duncanville in order to make Duncanville a better city.
Prior to seeking the City Council As I mentioned, I served on the Planning and Zoning Commission. When our commission rezoned the whole city, we rewrote all the ordinances. We applied new zoning categories to the entire city. It was a daunting task. We met every 2 weeks and had public hearings almost as often. I think that service pushed me into the belief that through zoning and through those issues, we can make Duncanville move forward. I've also served on a special board called the Sanitary Sewer Board, where we looked at all the septic tanks in our city and decided that through a collaboration between the partners, between our neighbors and our sewer customers, we could bring sewer to the city. Unfortunately, the city chose not to go with that path.
For 22 of the past 28 years, I've been councilman in District 4. I appreciate the fact that folks have appreciated me in that job. But also, before that time, for 6 years I served on the park board, previous chairman. And I also served as the first president of Duncanville's Economic Development Corporation. I served 3 years on that board. Although I've given 31 years of my city to those particular type things. In all that period of time, I've never had the track record that one of my opponents has, Mr. Huebner, who was reprimanded for saying things that were not true about his people on the Planning and Zoning Commission, and that can be verified if you want to talk to the chairman of the Planning and Zoning Commission at that time. If you count the 4 years that I coached Little League football and 5 years that I coached Little League girls softball, then I guess I've given 40 years out of my 69 years of life to my city of Duncanville. And I do appreciate the opportunity people have given me to do that.
Okay, thank you. How would you utilize the city's 4B authority to improve economic development in Duncanville?
Well, the first thing I would do is I would recognize that our 4B authority is split into 2 different categories, and that's quality of life, which we spend a lot of money doing, the Star Center, the library, and those economic development projects, which actually bring jobs to our city and increase our sales tax. I think that I would look and assess those projects, which are going to, when you look at the cost-benefit analysis, and bring cost below, that we can bring our value and our quality to the Duncanville. I think that we must increase the opportunities to create jobs, increase our sales tax, and to increase our property tax values.
Since I came back on the council in 1998, we brought in about $130 million. And I listed a bunch of those projects already. There are other projects too. You know, the one thing that we thought was going to be a real benefit to us and has been kind of difficult is the Star Center. The Star Center basically did not perform as well because, let's be frank about it, it costs you $600 to equip one junior hockey player. It doesn't cost that much to do a basketball player. Star's paid us $2 million to get out of that contract with us, and we're doing the best we can to try to ramp up. There have been some big tournaments coming into town, and basketball tournaments that bring a tremendous amount of sales tax to us. We're going to continue to take that sales tax. We're going to continue to do the best we can. When I was first president of the Economic Development Corporation, we set aside, we said we're going to do 60% for economic development and 40% for community development. We've tried to do that over the years. That's why we've got some of the facilities in town that we have, including the library and the rec center. We were the only city in Dallas County that didn't have a rec center when we passed that.
Thank you, Grady. Appreciate that.
It's a great question, Jim. One of the things I like to talk about for economic development is really one of my top priorities. Public safety, economic development, and the quality of life is what I like to stand for the City Council of Duncanville. As I think about economic development and the 4B board, we have more businesses leaving Duncanville than we have coming into Duncanville. So how do we solve that with the 4B board? First, we have to retain the businesses that we have in Duncanville. We have to figure out what's driving them away. The second part of the 4B board needs to concentrate on is how do we expand the business that they're getting from Duncanville? How do we, as residents, participate in giving them more business? And then the second part of the 4B board is how do we attract new business to Duncanville? Duncanville, yes, we are landlocked, but we're not locked out. We're not locked out simply because we have plenty of open space for new businesses to come to Duncanville and to be a part of this great community.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. What do you consider the basic functions of the City Council in the Duncanville's mayor, council, city manager form of local government? Want to hear it again?
No, sir. I think I understand that very well. I'm in a political science major in public administration and a master's degree. What we are is a board of directors. It's not up to us to go tell any city employee to do any specific thing. We do one thing and we do one thing only, and that is we hire the city manager. Then we set the policies after we do that the city is run by. It's not up to us to be telling the city manager what to do individually. As a board, yes, we have 7 folks. If we vote in this agreement, this is the policy we want you to carry out, Mr. City Manager, and that's what you do. We just recently selected a new city manager who I hope will come on board very quickly, and I think we'll get back to some of the stuff that we ought to do. But we have to remember one thing. We're your board of directors. We're not the guy that goes out and picks up the trash for you. We set the policies by which things are done. We don't do direct operations. And that's sometimes people have a hard time understanding that in newly elected council members. Thank you.
Thank you, Grady. Government.
You know, the basic function, I think, for the city council is to listen to the staff recommendation. You know, we pay staff for the city of Duncanville to do what they do every day. Every day, each one of us, or each one of the city council people, will get out and go to work and do what they do best at their jobs. Well, we do the same thing for our city team members. When they come back, our basic responsibility as a city council person is to listen to those recommendations and see if those recommendations line back up with the city's pattern of what we're moving forward to. If for some reason it does not, is we set the policy for what the city of Duncanville will or will not do in the city of Duncanville.
Well, I think you've heard this answer about 3 times. It's to set policies, it's to oversee the budget, it's to hire a city manager. But it's also to understand and respond to the citizens' concerns. Now, Mr. Smithy is right. We don't micromanage the staff. We instruct, or we ask the city manager to look into situations that have been addressed to us. But we're not absolute landlords. We don't just say, well, there's nothing we can do about that. What we do and what we should do is if a citizen comes to us and is concerned about something that's going on in the city, we should get from the city manager a report as to what is going on in that particular situation, and we should be able to answer that concern to that homeowner so that they can understand what the city is doing for their tax dollars. I appreciate it.
Friends, I have deep roots in this community. My family moved here in 1950. I'm a graduate of Duncanville High School, as are both my children, my daughter Shannon, my son Grady III. After graduating from North Texas in 1964, my wife Judy and I moved to Duncanville so that our children could grow up here. My dad was a Dallas firefighter. My mother taught school in Duncanville. The Mary R. Smithy Pay School was named for my mother. For 31 years, I've served the city by being an active member of the Duncanville Park Board for 6 years, 3 as chair, first president of Duncanville Economic Development Corporation, original founder of Duncanville Regional Mobility Coalition. I've served as secretary since 1990. Member of the Duncanville City Council for 22 of the past 28 years. Mayor Pro Tem elected 7 times by my fellow council members. President of Region 13, Texas Municipal League. Member of the Regional Transportation Council, regional government for 13 years. I've demonstrated my ability and willingness to work together locally and with others throughout North Texas. I work for Duncanville throughout the state of Texas. I have the proven judgment, experience, education, the qualifications, the desire, and the dedication to serve as your full-time leader in our district. I'm Grady Smithy, and I want to continue to be your Duncanville District 4 City Council. Please vote for me, Grady Smithy, on May 12th. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for allowing us to come before you and speak. My name is James Huber, and I'm running for the Duncanville City Council District 4 to be that new voice at City Hall. Once elected, I will restore the civility, accountability, and integrity of this council seat. When I talk to voters, they want to talk about the incumbent and his past sins and how they feel that their neighborhoods are ignored. 2 months out of every 2 years, he promises that only if you elect him, things will change and that this will be his last term. Once elected, those promises evaporate. What is it they say about repeating the same failed policies and expecting a different result? If we continue to do the same thing, we'll get more of the same. We'll get the same failed economic policies that left our Economic Development Board struggling and in debt. We'll see the same trash on the streets. Our neighborhoods will be abandoned, or will be littered with abandoned and unkept homes. If you elect me, I will work to increase the number of the police in the streets. With your input, I will help develop neighborhood improvement plans to revitalize those neighborhoods which need our help. We must reevaluate how we spend our money. We cannot continue to spend money on projects which do not bring jobs and sales tax to our town. We must spend those dollars where it matters most in our neighborhoods and in our police departments. And on May 12th, you have a choice. My name is James Hubener, and I ask for your vote.
I'd like to thank the Duncanville Chamber again and the Rotary Club for sponsoring this event on tonight. Again, my commitment as the next City Council person is 3 items: public safety, economic development, and the quality of life of Duncanville. I want to share with you again that yes, Duncanville is known to be landlocked in the city because of the surrounding cities. But I'll leave you with tonight again that because we're landlocked, we're not locked out on other opportunities that we can bring into our Duncanville residents. If you think about over the last couple of elections, we've only had 300 people to vote on each election. That is clearly a sign to me that we need new voices, we need new diversity all across our city to be a voice for Duncanville. I encourage you on today that you can bank on Mark Cooks in this next City Council election. Let me ask, mark your vote for Mark Cooks for the next City Council person of District 4. Thank you.